Good afternoon. Big OG Sid coming at you. Roll call. Look, dude, today's story, this is the first time I've done a video about the federal prison system. Because I did a 2-year stretch in the federal prison system. It was right in between when I was in the California prison system and I had to fight another case and they put me in federal prison for 2 years. And this video is about people that you think are solid ain't always solid. So smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. And I'm going to tell you about the absolutely biggest shocker when I found out who this convict was. And that convict's name was Larry Lawton. And everybody knows him as America's biggest jewel thief. To me, he looks like a truck driver. Like, you see him in the videos, he looks like those guys on that have the headset driving an 18-wheeler. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, $40 is too much for a BJ. You know what I mean? At the truck stop. But here's the thing. The reason I know all this stuff about him is not just because I'm an OG and have all the knowledge. And this can help y'all if y'all ever go to prison. But I was sitting in my cell one time, right? And I'm in the cell by myself. And I have it the way I like it. Everything's lined up. The dotted. The bottom bunk is for my art because I'm always drawing and stuff. And they pop my cell. And lo and behold, if it ain't Larry Lawton standing there smiling, looking goofy. So he comes in the cell. And remember, I don't know who this guy is, right? And when you have a cellie, the first thing you do when you have a cellie, there's things that you throw out there immediately. Like the first time they use the toilet tells you whether they're a convict or whether they're something else, real talk. So we're sitting there, da, right? And he's like, yo, dude, man, drinking this coffee, I gotta pee, right? So I'm just sitting here like this. And you know what this dude do? A convict will always stand up to pee. Larry Lawton sits down like a woman to pee. And he's like, whoo, that coffee goes right through me. And I'm like, in my mind, is the mindset of an OG, I just put it in a mental box. Because what y'all don't understand is this can help you when you're in prison. The coffee you get at the commissary, the convict coffee, it doesn't make you pee a lot. The instant coffee doesn't make you do that. But the stuff the COs drink, y'all seeing my picture now? The stuff the COs drink, the real coffee, that stuff makes you pee a lot. You're saying, yo, Big Sid, you saying he's a CO? Just hold on a second. Y'all gotta hear this. That's good. So I'm sitting there, I've already put that in my mind, like, yo, the coffee makes you pee. And he's real cool with the COs, like real cool. Like a little too cool. You know what I mean? Like a little too cool. So we're sitting there, and I'm on the top bunk, so I always had the top bunk. Got my blade up there. And I sit there, we're talking, chopping it up. And I always throw out this question. This is something that all you convicts know I'm right about. I love WWE, WCW. I love professional wrestling. UFC is gay. So I'm on the top bunk, and I'm like, yo, Larry, because I think he kind of looks like a WCW wrestler, to be honest. And I just shaped him for like 40 years ago. But I'm sitting like, yo, Larry, man, I got to see Hulk Hogan live. You know, I was at this wrestling, talking about that. You know what this dude says to me? He goes, pfft. I was like, did you burp? He's like, pfft. Nah, man, wrestling's fake. I came out of that bunk, dude, a blade in each hand. And I had to control my anger. Because at that moment, I said, what? And at first, I'm like, oh, getting embarrassed and stuff. Because I think he's joking. This dude said, man, wrestling's fake, dude. I said, what? I sit straight up in my bunk like, what? He's like, yeah, man, I don't really get into that. Wrestling's fake. And so you combine that with the fact he sits down to pee. He says the coffee goes right through him. But we know the convict, instant coffee from the commissary doesn't go through you. Only what the cops drink. He says wrestling's fake. He's cool with the guards. So I'm already thinking in my mind, the dude's a CO. And I'm going to straight up tell you, Larry Lawton, yeah, he was in prison. The dude's a CO. Real talk. So I'm sitting there, right? And I've got all this stuff in my head, and I'm trying to fall asleep. I take like 3 Xanny bars, still couldn't sleep. He's down there like doing this weird whistle thing, bro. And he says, yo, I just need to let you know, Big OG said that, don't be alarmed, but I talk in my sleep. And I'm thinking that all the things going through my head. And he said, I'm thinking like, well, some people do talk in their sleep. Some people eat in their sleep, all kinds of crazy stuff. And he's like, I talk in my sleep. So if you hear me, don't be alarmed. I talk in my sleep. So I finally doze off about 4 a.m. And I hear, and I'm like, yo, man, because I have like, people have those little recorders, right? And he told me earlier, like, yeah, I have this really cool small cell phone. And I didn't think nothing of it, because all the cell phones came from me in that federal prison. And I hear this voice say, and cell 2, Brian, sells the tobacco. And he's sitting there telling all this stuff about who's who. Like, he's like, the Southsiders, they have the black tar, they have an ounce right now. And I'm like, my gosh, that dude's a CEO. He's talking, he's making notes on the recorder, right? And so I dozed back off. I'm like, yo, bro, you were talking in your sleep a lot last night. He's like, sorry if I disturbed you. I'm like, nah, it's good, dude. But hey, let me see your cell phone. Let me see that cell phone. Let me see that cell phone. I got up on it just like that. I got up on him and said, let me see your cell phone. He said, I misplaced it. I said, look, dude, it's me and you in this cell. Okay? How do you misplace a cell phone? Because someone's about to get airlifted. I didn't say that, though. I didn't say that. But I straight up was like, you misplaced it. And just at that time, they popped the doors. And, it's like rec time, something like that. So we got to rec. And I'm telling my solid Caucasian men. I was like, this dude's a CEO. They're like, yo, see, that's a good one. Da-da-da-da. That's the biggest jewel thief. That's Larry Lawton. I said, look, dude, that dude's a CEO. And I'm trying to explain it because he told me in his cell and even in his videos, he talks about, yeah, we did a jewelry heist with pellet guns, toy guns. He literally says that in his video. And everyone knows you're a true convict or criminal. You always use a real gun. So I'm sitting there thinking, right? I'm trying to tell them they ain't listening to me. So I go to the brothers. They're over there, boom, 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 doing the beatbox thing. You know how they be. And I'm trying to tell them. And I'm telling like the Hispanics, I'm like, yo, man, listen, this dude's a CEO. And they're like, yo, that's Larry Lawton, da-da-da-da. So we get back locked up in the cell that night. And he's like, not trying to start something, but I heard you, telling people that I'm a CEO. And I'm like, maybe. And he said, let me just tell you how this whole heist went down. As he proceeds to tell me that he and these dudes had these fake guns and stuff, and like his partner got shot and stuff. But he's like, you know how it is when you're a convict and you use fake guns because you don't want someone to get hurt. I said, I put more bodies in a week. You think I care about people getting hurt? And he backs up like this and starts tapping on the door. Dude, I about lost it. He's sitting there like this. Imagine him, that cut-off T-shirt, tapping on the door like this. He said, I get nervous. I said, no. The CEO's like, everything okay? And before I could say something, they said, you okay, Larry? LL? Larry Lawton. And in that moment, boy, it clicked. We clicked up. So I get back in my bunk like this and act like I was sleeping. The next day, we're on the rec yard. I told the Southsiders, because they were like getting all the drugs from me. I said, yo, you know that dude's been dropping kites, right? And it has like a little pony on it, LL. And you think that that's like a dirty cop or something. I said, get that. And literally these notes have been telling our people to say LL. That CEO that came to the door by accident called him LL. And that's when I knew, straight up. This is straight up, dude. That was the proof that Larry Lawton was a CEO. He never was a convict. He's a corrections officer. And straight up, dude, we poked him up. He got poked up. Straight up. He got poked up. And like he said other crazy stuff. Like I was talking about, yo, there's some cool tattoos. He's like, yeah, the worst part about tattoos is they hurt. And I was just like, so this is to explain to y'all. Y'all can look at someone and think that they're solid, and most Caucasians are. But some of the most people you think are the most solid, the most biggest jewel thieves, ain't nothing but correctioner officers, man. Because that heist he did, he was an informant. He was the guy with the fake guns because the undercover cop, when undercover, they don't carry real guns because they can take it from them and turn it on the undercover cop. So he was not only a CO, he's an undercover cop. And I'll never forget sitting in my cell like this, and the people were like, yo, Sid, how did you know? And bing, because the cell signals ain't good in the cell. And and I already knew I was right, but I'm sitting there after we poked him up and he was gone out of the federal system. He got paroled or something gay. And I'm sitting there and I get a text. And it's after the cadet school, where all the cadets are lined up, here is Larry Lawton like this smiling with the badge on in uniform. If I would have gotten that text, I wouldn't have gone through all this headache because he would have been poked up the first day in the cell. So that's why I've always been like, yo, convicts need to have good cell phone signals. So that's just a side point. So remember that, man. Just remember that. Not everybody to say they something big or something big. And you can trust your OG Big Six. I'm a real OG. So I hope everybody stays sober. I hope this changes your mindset as a criminal. God bless all of y'all. Much love.